Thank you so much for joining me here at Mittelmat TV. I'm super honored, really, to have
Thank
you.
you so much. It's an
Uh,
honor is mine.
Lately, I was dying to meet other Arab in rock, metal punk scene, and what happened is TikTok brought you. So that was really super cool, as well as Adam.
Adam,
Uh,
Adam, yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I have his pin right here, Adam.
oh, that's
Yeah,
super
he's a good
cool.
he's a good friend of mine. He's a very good friend of mine. I like his band Sakin. They're good.
I
Yeah.
100% agree.
No, they're wonderful. I actually made a song with him for an up and coming Palestinian wrestler.
Okay.
So we made like an intro song for him, and it was really wonderful. We had Zajal in it too, so it was really
Okay.
nice.
We got a Zajal and a hard rock song.
فارس عمري ما برجع لا بالتل ولا بالوديان انا بعكم يا بني تصرك رح تخسر فتحات بالخازوق شو مفكر هذا الدوبين سلافة ما إلها معنى كل البعض وبعضه.
First thing first, who are you?
My name is Abdullah Al-Khatib. I am Palestinian Jordanian. I was born in the Massachusetts, Boston, but I was raised in Jordan. And I only moved back to the United States about 12 years ago with my
Okay.
family. Yeah, and I've always liked music, all sorts of different music, and punk really stuck with me. So it was very beautiful for me to discover punk. I was still out in Jordan and I was living that rebellious part of me, and the people there didn't really like it. Like I'd always get stopped, like bullied, like a lot of people would, some
Mm,
people would beat me up. Like it was very difficult to grow, but it's wild to see now because I have some punks that are in Jordan now
yeah.
and they tell me Inqirad is so wonderful, like we love your music. And
Mm,
it's crazy to think that there's a whole punk scene now in Jordan because when I was back in Jordan 14 years ago, there was no one. It was just
no.
me. And I
Yeah.
was trying to start a scene, I made Facebook pages like Punk in Jordan, like come hang out, but nothing came out of it.
Oh,
But after some time, like it was wonderful because when I moved to California, I would always search like Arab punk
yeah.
on Google, YouTube, whatever, see what I could find. And
Yeah.
it took me many years to be able to find that type
Yeah.
of representation. And I remember my first Arabic punk band was from Chicago. They were called El Thawra. They were from Chicago, and one of the people that performs in that band is called Marwan. They don't perform anymore. They don't make music.
Oh,
Marwan is like he
that's
plays. Yeah, they're one of
yeah.
my favorite bands all time. They're very wonderful. But Marwan plays oud, so now he performs with oud, which is he's
No,
very oud.
that's
Yeah, he plays oud very well. So
yeah.
he's a very talented man, and it was wonderful to find them. And then I remember messaging him at some point, like many years
Mm,
later, and then me and him started talking a lot. So it's
mm,
just the world, especially in like the alternative scene, we lack that representation of Arabhood.
yes.
We really lack that part of that type of representation because it's really white led, it's white dominant, it's
Yeah.
predominantly white. And even like all these like subcultures, like they're like, oh, we include everybody, we include this, we include that. Like I
Mm,
only I only like made the videos that I make on my TikTok, on my Instagram, and I've never seen another Arab punk like post something like that besides like Adam or
mm,
something, but like there's not a lot of heads like performing and like expressing that type of thing in
yes.
the alternative scene.
I 100% agree with you.
Mhm.
And the thing is, growing up, I discovered hard rock, metal music, and rock very early in Casablanca,
Mhm.
in
Oh
Morocco.
wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I was born in France, right? Every summer we went to Morocco with my dad. I can find everything there, every single
Yeah.
band and
Yeah.
in the record shop selling cassettes, back in the
Mhm.
days. I interviewed a metal artist from Tunisia, Nawather. So this band who told me the exact same thing. I mean, we discovered um, punk band, rock band in Morocco, and
Wow.
he discovered in Tunisia. So this
Wow.
is really important for me. So that means that us as Arab. we come from an incredibly rich musical culture. And, we heard Oum Kalthoum, we heard,
But
a lot of
Fairouz and
Fairouz.
poetry.
Fairouz.
Yeah, yeah. It
She's
was Fairouz.
amazing.
So amazing. When I was growing up in Jordan, sometimes on the weekend, I'd wake up to Fairouz being played, my mom cooking some dishes for breakfast, and my mom singing along. Sometimes I sing Atini Nay from.
أعطني النايا وغني فالغنى سر الوجود وأنين الناي يبقى بعد أن يفنى الوجود.
My mom, she gets really emotional,
Oh,
Yeah, because I love that song. That's my favorite Fairouz song. It's one of her
mm,
more popular songs, but
yeah,
it's wonderful. Like we have so much culture, like we have so much diversity. Like the
yeah.
Swana region, like the MENA region is like just so full of like different type of
Mm,
cultures all coming together to unite under one ethnic background. So
mm,
it's really wonderful because when I was in Jordan, there was a lot of metalheads too.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, Arabs, they love
We,
metal.
yeah,
Yeah, they love metal. They love metal. It's crazy. I
yeah.
was practicing. I would sing and play guitar with some of my friends from the metal scene, and sometimes at school, the music teacher would give us one of the rehearsing rooms. So me and him would be on the break, like on
Mm.
our lunch break, we'd be in the room performing. He was an
Oh,
amazing drummer, very good drummer. So it was with me, and then we started adding more people, and we kind of wanted to like start a band. So it was
mm.
really wonderful. It was really wonderful, but. Like I said, like there's so many metalheads in the Middle East, especially Jordan. Like they love metal.
Exactly. For me, the idea that Arabs and heavy music don't mix was never a thing. Never,
Yeah.
absolutely never.
Especially like when I'm sometimes on Instagram or TikTok, there's a lot of youth, Arabic youth that reach out to me, and they're like, "Oh, your music inspired me. Like I didn't find any band like this, like I and sings in Arabic. So
Mm,
I always try to motivate them, like, "Oh, you speak Arabic, you do your own band, write lyrics, write
mm,
poetry, whatever you want to write.
yeah.
Just express yourself and express the struggle within you." Because
Mm,
like I firmly believe that every Arab like especially after 48 and like a little before that,
yeah.
we're kind of born into this struggle. Like no matter what you are, we kind of all agree that this is something we all want.
Yeah.
It is something that we unites us, even if it's like very different. Because
Mm,
some countries in the Middle East and like North Africa and stuff, they're very supportive of like the Israeli nation.
yeah, yeah.
So it's very important for us to kind of like have like a way for these people to kind of like meet us, to kind of like listen, to kind of be inspired. So
Yeah.
it's very important to me. So when those people hit me up, like they message me, I'm very honored. I'm like telling me, no, like I'm happy you like it. I don't care that I made it. Like I just want you to enjoy it. I want to hear your feedback. I want to know if it inspires you to make your own band,
Mm,
like because it's very important, very important. Like I said earlier, like there's such a lack of
yeah.
representation in
Yes.
these subcultures,
Mm, mm, mm,
and very wonderful when you do find that and
mm.
you're able to talk to them and kind of like understand their background, like what inspires them, what the message is behind the music.
Yeah.
So
But I love what you are saying because it's what I feel really as a media. We were talking about it with Adam.
Adam's wonderful. He motivates me a lot. Like
Yes. Oh,
he's an actor, like he performs, like he has
yeah.
commercials, movies, like shows and all that. Plus he makes it keen. I remember I went to his second show out in the Viper Room in Hollywood
Mm.
and they had a depke in the pit. So I was like, I was dying. I was all for it. I was like all the way in the front. I was like, I have to come see your band, because he came saw my band last year, and
Oh,
yeah, so I was like, I have to come check you out. And there was like a depke in the pit, and it was absolutely wonderful. We had such a great time, and I think it was Halloween as well, so everybody was dressed up except me.
oh, that's
But there
cool.
was a lot of there was a lot of Arabs and Palestinians and all that did show up to support, and they had a depke in the scene, and then. It
Oh,
was beautiful, beautiful.
yeah, this is my question. How did you end up in Los Angeles, and how did you find it as an artist today to
Okay,
live?
so when I was about 16, 17,
Okay.
I was living in Jordan, Amman. So very like my dad kind of like wanted a better life for us,
Yeah.
because initially we were born in Massachusetts because of my dad's school. So
Mm.
we weren't really struggling or anything. It was just my dad was like, I want you guys to have more.
Yeah.
So we ended up day and night, like it was just like that, day and
Mm.
night. We packed everything. Like I came with some clothes and we ended up in Los Angeles. We kind of I live in Orange County now. But when we first moved, we were in the South Bay, so LA County, and it was really easy for the move because my aunt and her family live here.
Okay.
So we would every time, like every day when we first moved, we'd be at her house, and the house that we ended up renting was like a five minute, 10-minute walk from her
Yeah.
house. So
It's
it was yeah, it was very convenient, but it was interesting because like as an artist, like before, I didn't really write a lot of poetry. I had a guitar, like I would
mm,
play guitar. I didn't really write that many lyrics. I knew I wanted a band.
mm,
So eventually, when I was out in like the Inland Empire and all that, like I was able to find some like-minded people, and like because now the lineup is all different from before.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, but we were able to like kind of come together and kind of like I was able to express myself because like with
Mm.
with my lyrics like I kind of like almost impromptu, but it was interesting because Los Angeles is very inviting to that type of music,
Okay.
and yeah, so we ended up actually like in 23 like in November of 2023 my band we started the Punks for Palestine movement out in Los
Yes.
Angeles. So I was the
Okay.
one that named the Punk for Palestine, and it was three other girls that we all kind of like came together and like we started this movement, and it
Mm.
was wonderful to see. It took off globally, but that first show that we had for Punks for Palestine, we raised $10,000 for organizations. So it
That.
was a huge success. But like
Mm.
honestly, like over the world, everybody's doing the Punks for Palestine thing, and it's been
Yes.
beautiful. And like I'm pretty sure at this point, like we made hundreds of thousands of dollars all globally for the
Yeah.
cause. So, it was nice. Like my band, we performed a few times before that, and then we came back as a band, and we
Mm.
performed the Punks for Palestine gig, and then we started like performing a little more. Now we changed the lineup a little bit, so we're just focusing on
Yeah.
recording and
Okay.
kind of like getting more music out there because 2021 was the only time like we haven't released anything since like 5 years
Yes.
ago. It was just a
Yeah.
demo, those four songs, but
Mm.
like for Los Angeles, as far as Los Angeles is concerned, it's a very inviting scene. I mean, a lot of people don't really understand the message fully. Like, they don't
Yes.
really know what the band is about, but they think it's like cool that I speak in Arabic. Like, I'm completely in Arabic.
Mm.
So a lot of support. Like, I found a lot of support in the LA scene. So it's
Mm.
very nice. And like, we like to perform. My band, we like to perform like out in Los Angeles. Most of our
Yes.
our shows have
Okay.
been in Los Angeles. So or Long Beach, some in Orange County. So. But for the most part, like I'd say like maybe 75% of the shows we performed in were Los Angeles.
So, could you tell me a little more about the lyrics that you write?
Of
You
course,
told
of
me that
course.
you love writing also poems. And,
Of
yeah.
course. So like, for as far as poetry is concerned, like it's always been like a cultural kind of like rebellious thing. Because back in the
Mm.
day, like there was a lot of poets being arrested. So there's
Yes.
this one poet that I really like. He's an Iraqi poet. His name is Mudaffar al-Nuwab.
تدري شو يسوي القهر؟ ما بشيتك، ما ادري من هو بصدري يبكي، ما ادري من هو يشقق بقلبي الكواغد، ما ادري من هو يريد يسافر، ما ادري من هو يجرني بيذر للمطر، ما بشيتك، درت عيني للبحر، ابكي المسافات الهمتها وياك.
Kind of inspires me, but my lyrics, they're mostly kind of like about my youth, like growing up as an Arab, not
Mm.
having that representation. I talk a little bit about religion, like because like in not like I because I don't really like follow
Yeah.
any of that, but I do talk a little bit about religion. I do
Mm.
talk about like Palestine. I talk about like rebellious themes.
Mm.
But some of my songs, like the first song on the demo, When We Were Young, is like kind of like growing up as a Muslim kid
Yeah.
out in the Middle East. So a lot of my lyrics do entail that, and like some of the newer stuff too. It's more of like very political, anti-Zionist, like just
Yeah.
stuff like that that entail that. So I try to like express myself in that manner because punk is just it gives you a lot of musical
Yeah.
freedom. Like you're able to kind of like express yourself in ways that it's kind of harder to express yourself in other type of like genres, not like subcultures. It's mostly like other genres,
Yes.
because with metal, like it can be pretty rebellious as well. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's mostly just about my youth and like my stance on religion and like the
Mm.
state of the Palestine, like the state of the
Yeah.
Middle East and stuff like that. So with my band, like
Yeah.
we have a song, We Are the Extinct, its name is. So it's like a drop D.
Mm.
So we have to change the tuning. So sometimes with my band, when I'm performing live, I'll have like two poems prepared. So I'll read the first time it will be in Arabic when we're tuning, and then when we're tuning back, I'll read the same poem but in English, the
Mm.
translation.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I try to write really frequently. A lot of my themes are like mental illness and like
Mm-hmm.
Arabic youth, like what it means to be like your Arabhood, like how to express yourself as an Arab. A lot of political themes like about the leaders, like the sheikhs, like
Mm.
about like Palestine, the Zionist,
Yeah.
the Zionist entity.
Yeah.
So it's really important to me to be writing like that because, like I said earlier, like poetry in Arabic
Mm.
culture has always been like a very rebellious thing, and it
Yeah.
was like very anti-establishment, anti like
Yes.
the Arabic leaders, anti even sometimes anti-religion.
Mm.
And it's crazy because like a lot of people online they'd be like, oh, Muslim this, Muslim that, and it never say anything about Islam. So on my Instagram, like I had to pin comments, be like, assuming all Arabs are Muslim is racist.
Yeah.
But they don't really understand it. But like some of the newer songs that I've been writing, like there was one about police, there was one I named Apostate.
Mm.
There's a few songs like about like there's this one that's very inspired by my favorite poet, and it's called Swine. So
Twenty.
I do quote some of his poetry. Like one of the lines that I sing is
Okay.
like one ripped completely out of his poem. And
Mm.
it's very nice. And there's a lot of those poets like Nizar Qabbani, Mudaffar, like Hassan Kinafani, like all
Mm.
those older poets. They would write about the establishment. They would write
Mm.
about the leaders, and they'd end up in prison.
Yeah.
And yeah, so a lot of those people, like my favorite, the Iraqi poet Mudaffar al-Nawab, he was to be
Yeah.
executed in an Iraqi prison. Yeah, so this was like in the 70s or 80s. So
Mm.
he ended up escaping jail. He ended up
Mm.
escaping jail, and he died like like 5, 6 years ago, maybe,
Oh.
completely on the run. He died of net like old age. So he
Oh,
lived a full
that's
life.
yeah. This
He
is
basically
crazy.
survived that. Yeah, it's insane because a
Mm-hmm.
lot a lot of those like because even before like Arabic was involved in punk,
Mm-hmm.
we did have like in my opinion, I do consider these like very punk, these poets. It's
Yes.
very rebellious. They were very out there. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
cussing, they were being creative with how they cuss, like
Yeah.
how they tear apart this like system that doesn't work. It's not because the leaders in the Middle East they're not pro-Arab. They're not pro-Arab.
No.
They really don't care about us. Like the kings,
Mm.
the monarchs, like the presidents, the dictators, all that.
Yes.
Some of them were like trying to like nationalize the oil and stuff, but as soon as that
Mm-hmm.
happened, that's when the USA comes in and they like
Mm-hmm.
Saddam Hussein, like in
Yes.
Libya, like in Libya, Gaddafi was a horrible
Gaddafi
man,
way.
like
So how do you
and like
feel you as an artist today to hear some the Arab are terrorists or whatever? I mean, they argue a lot. Okay, we
yes,
argue a lot, but we not.
Allah. I feel like the whole terrorist ideation for like
Yeah.
the association with Arabs and terrorists is mostly like fear mongering, like the US entity wanted to create this like
Yeah.
kind of rift between all cultures and ethnic backgrounds with between like a rift between all these and the Arab culture,
Yeah.
because we like the Middle East, like whether anyone likes to admit it or not, like we're very rich in resources, like
Yeah.
there's so much oil, there's so much stuff to be able to like give to the world. But like the whole association with terrorists is like, especially like a post 9/11 world, like
Yeah.
it's a horrible thing. Like we took a big hit as a community,
Yes.
and it was just very difficult, like because like even like when I go to the airport, I want to travel, I'm always worried about
Yeah.
TSA, like that random security check. Uh,
Yeah.
so like growing up, even like a post 9/11 world, like we would
Mm.
travel a lot when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
almost every time, like either on the way back or on the way going, like
Mm.
random security check, Abdullah, Kati, my dad, my brother, my I have two siblings, a brother and a sister. And like it was one or two of us every single time. One
Yeah.
time, I remember this the most vivid, like the security checks. Like I remember I was going to Canada, and it was like two flights. So we landed in Heathrow in London, and then we
Mm.
went from Heathrow to Toronto, the airport in Toronto. I could forget what the airport, but we had three random security checks, and we
Oh
ended up
my
missing our
God.
flight.
Oh my
Ended up missing our flight because of it. So like on the TSA, and then as soon as we got there, when we were waiting, they called us. And as we were boarding the plane on the bridge, they called us again, searched us in front of everybody. And it's dehumanizing. Like the whole association, Arabs and terrorists, we're really not. Like if you think of it like even like the Allahu Akbar,
Yeah.
like what it means, like it means like why Arabs do this because they want to mention Allah like one last time
Yes.
before they're deceased. It's not like a thing like, oh, I'm gonna explode.
No,
It's
no,
like
no, no. And it's
and
you're
and
right.
Islam isn't like a terrorist like religion.
Oh.
It's like I when I was a Muslim, I went to pilgrimage. I went to Mecca twice.
Mm.
It's peaceful. Like you see these people kind of praying. And
Exactly.
it teaches like Islam, like it teaches tolerance. No matter what people try to convince you, like in the Quran, I read the Quran several times as a
Mm.
Muslim.
Mm.
It says like if you can't convert them, like respect them, even if they're not
Yes.
Abrahamic religions.
Mm.
Respect your neighbor, respect women. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
that. There's a lot of that, not like conspiracy, but like the misinterpretation of like Islam is
Yes.
saying that women are oppressed. Women are oppressed. They have to wear the hijab. But it's
Are you
even when I was in Jordan, like we had female cops, we had female military people, like
absolutely?
people working in government offices. Like you see this a lot in the Middle East as well. Even
Yes.
like back in Muhammad's times, like women were like the whole women are allowed to drive is completely not related to Islam. It's just the
No.
Sharia that they tried to enforce on us. But women
Exactly.
would ride the camels, women would lead ghazwat, like the tribal
Yeah.
wars, they'd be on the horses, they'd be leading.
Mm.
And but like the
Yes.
whole thing with like
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, like the whole terrorism thing is just like I think it's personally, I believe it's like a fear-mongering thing, kind of
Yes.
just to isolate us, to kind of
Mm.
dehumanize us, because Arabs, as like worldwide, we're very oppressed individuals. Like everybody hates Arabs.
Yeah.
Everybody hates
Yeah.
Arabs.
But we
So
are really, I'm sorry to say that, but we are really interesting. We are cool. We have this
yes,
culture. We have double or sometimes triple culture. Same for you. So we are really
yeah.
rich. I mean, really open mind.
Rich
We
in culture, rich in a lot of like backgrounds, like you said, because this tends to happen a lot with Arabs. Like we move everywhere. We're
exactly.
everywhere. We're everywhere.
Mm.
So there's like Arabs, like you said, French, like Canada,
Mm.
Germany, British. Like there's
Yes.
so many dual like cultures that are within like the
Mm.
Arab culture. But
Yeah.
like with the whole terrorism thing, it's like what I want to say is like it's like a way to just kind of like put
Mm.
people off,
Yes.
like be like, oh, this is an Arab, he's most likely a
Mm.
terrorist descent.
Yeah.
And it's dehumanizing because I
Mm.
had to deal with that a lot as a kid. Like I didn't really understand it fully.
Mm.
Like even like one time because I lived in Saudi for 2 years when I was
Yeah.
like younger, I was a really young kid.
Mm.
But I remember one time we were straight up, me and my siblings were kids, and we were by the TSA line, and then there was like this. Suddenly, I just feel someone grab my arm and pull me into a room, and then I saw all my siblings standing in the room. I was the last one to be pulled, and it was this female TSA agent saying like, "Oh, like where are you going?" And she was Arab too. I think she might have been Saudi. She was like, "Where are you going? Are you with your parents? Like, what are your parents doing? What do they
Yes.
work? What are they doing? It's even like you see it, Arab versus Arab,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that's what this Western entity wants us to do. You know, they
Yeah.
want us to be against each other. And you see this a lot.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see this
but
a lot in like this,
it's
yeah.
not working
No, no.
it's not working because we are here and trying to catch each other and support each other, you know,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
it's and
Very
especially
beautiful. Yeah.
I don't know if you are agree with me, especially now with what happened in Palestine. We
Yes.
were like opening everything, our mind, our eyes, and
I
like,
agree. Yeah, I agree.
okay,
Like the genocide, you know,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
interesting. Like, I don't want to call it necessarily beautiful what happened because it's a very ugly thing that we had to like
No, I
resort to
know,
that
of
for us to kind of like
course.
step up because this
Mm,
has been going on for decades, you know, like so long. But it
yes.
was interesting to see like all the Arab cultures like kind of come together like under one cause, you know,
Mm,
and
mm,
like
mm.
even not like just the Arabs, like the world, you know, like the
Yes,
world, like wearing the kufiya, like doing protests, like you
yes.
know, like writing, like sharing all these posts, like about what's going on in the genocide, you
Yeah.
know, and like it's like the first time in history that Palestine was literally on the map and everyone
Yes.
was seeing it for what it was. You know, a
Mm,
lot
mm,
of
mm,
people
mm.
were very new to the cause. You know, I was even in my band, like 2021, I was saying free Palestine, like we're
Oh,
being killed, you know, we're being
yeah,
killed, like this is what's happening. Like it was Sheikh Jarrah at the time, you know, being
yeah.
completely destroyed and pulverized. But like I was like, oh, we're like the schools, like the hospitals, like
Mm,
everything, the
yes.
mosques, the synagogues, the churches, everything being bombed. And people looked at me like, what are you talking about? Like, what's Palestine, you know? So I had to sit
Yes.
down with like a group of people and kind of like explain like what Palestine, the
Mm,
historical value of it, you know. But it was interesting because a lot of these people didn't really fully understand or grasp the situation as
yes.
severely as it was until this genocide happened, you know. And
Yes.
then that's when, because we all have social media, we all have phones, we can
No,
record, you know, post it
no,
right
yeah.
away. And
Mm, mm,
but it was very interesting to see like the world kind of come together, like not even just the Arabs, like the whole world kind of stood up for
yes.
Palestine. And like there was a lot of pressure on like Netanyahu and Trump and like Biden and all of those people. A lot of pressure on them to like
Mm,
alleviate and kind of like lessen. And
mm,
like,
mm,
but
mm.
the thing is, like Israel, they never honor a ceasefire. You know
Yeah.
what they
No,
tried to
no,
do
never.
when the ceasefire, yeah, never. They've never honored it in all of history. There's never been one ceasefire they
Yeah.
haven't broke. But
Mm,
like
mm,
what
mm.
they tried to do with the first ceasefire here, you know, it was really sad to see all the kids in Palestine and Gaza like celebrating. You know, it's like how long is it gonna
Yes,
last?
yes. The
The
next
next day,
day, they,
yeah, what they tried to do with this, they tried to incite Hamas. You know, they want Hamas to have a reaction, so be like, "Oh, Hamas did this,"
no,
you know, but
yeah, yeah,
you're the one killing everybody, you know, like. But
exactly.
yeah, no, it's very beautiful to see. Like, I don't like calling it beautiful, but like, it's
Mm.
a good thing that.
The Arab and the Muslim start, you know, doing stuff for for the Palestinian, start to give food, water, money, everything, you know. I think that this say a lot about us. So it is important, you know, and it is beautiful to see everybody together, you know, to
Yes,
start to do
definitely.
something, you know, because
Exactly.
otherwise, I think be crazy, you
We need
know.
that support, you know, we need that
Yeah,
support for sure,
that's
you
first.
know.
I
And
was
it was really wonderful to see like the families kind of reaching out like for donations and all that and people kind of
yes,
like
yes.
communicating with people on the floor in Gaza, you know.
Mm, mm,
A
mm.
lot of friends of mine like have direct contact to people living in Gaza. You know, they
Yeah.
check in on, they're like, "Hey, like how are you doing? What do you need?" You know.
Mm, mm, mm.
But aid like was blocked and then even with the aid that came in, it was just so hard for people to like get the
Yes.
food, get the water, you know, get the resources because it's just so oversaturated. There's like so many people living in like this dense little population, you know,
Yeah.
in like this dense little area. So it was
Mm.
very dense and like the over like very populated, you know, and
So I think that it's important that artists like you or Céline or talk about what happened also
yeah,
in Gaza
yeah,
and
yeah.
Palestine.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting because now you see a lot of Arabic punk bands coming up too. You know, like I know like 10, 20. You know, like in the last year, like even like the year before that, like there's at least like five bands that popped up
Ah,
in like the Middle East or like Europe, London, you know, like the UK,
yeah.
you know, it's very interesting because a lot of these people, like I even knew them, you know, like they come up and they're singing in Arabic, you know, and
Mm,
it's
mm, mm, mm.
interesting because like before it only used to be like a few couple or three bands. that were singing in Arabic, you know. But
Mm-mm-mm.
now there's like a good amount of bands, like a lot of like we kind of have like a little community, you know,
Yes. Like
and it's
this band,
wonderful.
Ikhras, Ikhras, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Ikhras, which
Yeah.
means shut up, right?
Shut up, exactly. So the vocalist, his name is Hassan, and
Okay,
he lives in London, and he's also Palestinian. So he's
okay.
like the frontman. He's Palestinian, so his
Mm,
band's very political and like they're very like
yes.
they explain a lot of the struggles that Arabs like face, and very interesting band. Like I always tell people to listen to them. Like I even have it like painted on this vest, like
Oh,
right there, you know.
excellent. Yes,
Yeah. So
Ikhras.
yeah, no, they're wonderful. They're wonderful band. And then
Oh,
there's plenty of bands now, like there's Haram Takbir, you know, like there's also this band that sings in Urdu in Germany named Zanjir. There
yes,
was uh, there was one from Tunis. There was like Haram Takbir is from Morocco, you know. There
yes.
was Mar'a Burkan that popped up in Tunis, but they kind of like fell off the map. And there
Mm,
was like plenty of bands, and like even like we had one band from Syria. This was back when I was living in Jordan in Mazot.
Masoud.
And
Okay.
Mazot, yeah, like the fuel, you know. And
Okay.
yeah, yeah, and they were interesting. They were out in Syria, and I think they performed a couple of times. I don't know if they still make music, but I did reach out to them at some point.
Mm,
You know, I'm like, hey, like I really love the music. You know, there's
mm.
Znus as well. There's Uzu.
Snooze
There's a lot of
is really
Znus.
amazing. Zed
Yeah.
Noose, yes. Really,
They're
yeah.
more metal. They're more metal than they are
Yes.
punk,
Mm-mm-mm.
but they do have those punk features, you know. And
Yeah.
there's like let me think what else like
Mm.
what other bands. I can't really think of the other ones. There's plenty right now.
Yeah,
There's
I
one that
know.
came out on some
I know
tour.
also that
Yeah.
you did some work by posting some video about band
Yes, yes.
to
Yeah, the Arabic bands. Yeah. Yeah, so even like last year, like like mid last year on TikTok, I posted two videos as well, like talking about other bands, you know.
yes.
Same with the video I recently posted, but the video on TikTok, two of them, I made two parts, and then I made the new one with some of the same bands, but some of the
Yeah,
newer bands that are
in
coming out, you know.
2006. Yeah.
And it's important. It's very important, you know, to have because a lot of the people reached out to me like, "Oh, I didn't even know there's Arabic punk bands." Like, I'm an
Yeah.
Arab, you know, I'm an Arab punk, I'm an Arab goth, I'm an Arab metalhead, you know.
Mm.
There's none of this shit. Like, we're not listening to any of this shit, you know.
Yeah.
So in my head, it was like, I don't want to say I'm doing a favor, you know. It's like I'm just putting out what is there, you know. Like, I'm kind of like trying to inspire these people, be like, "Hey, we exist too," you know.
Mm.
It's not just one or two, like or
Mm.
three or whatever different cultures or ethnic backgrounds, like in English or like other
Yes.
languages. We have it in Arabic, you know. We
Mm.
have it in Arabic as well. So come together. Let's kind of like explain, like kind of like explore this together, you know. And
Mm.
I love making those videos because I always get like really good feedback, you know, and like in
Yes.
some of the comments in the recent videos that I posted, like, oh my God, horrible, you know, like
Oh,
the
yes.
stupid, yeah, like the stupidest, like most racist shit, you know. But all
Oh,
those people kind of get lit up, like people like go over them, you know, they go
yeah.
after them. And
Yeah.
I'm like some of the videos I straight up had to like pin, like, oh, like I'm not talking about Islam, you know, Arab, assuming all
Yes,
Arabs
I
are
know.
Muslims, so racist, you know. But like a lot of people don't really get that. Like as soon as they see brown or Arab, they're like Muslim. Even if in the punk music, there's no
Yeah.
representation. Like globally, there's no representation of Arabs, you know?
Yes. Mm-mm-mm.
There's no representation. They only know a few things. Like they like the food, they like whatever, but they don't like the people, you know?
Mm.
Like they like the culture, but they don't like Islam. They don't like the people. You know, they just want to eat our food. They want to act
Yeah.
like us. Like because
Mm-mm.
Arabs, like we discovered and invented so many things, especially like during the Baghdad area when Baghdad was like
Yes.
the
Yes.
pinnacle of like mathematics, algebra. Like algebra is
Mm-mm.
named algebra because the person that discovered created it is called
Mm.
Al-Jabr. You know, the
Ah, yes, yes.
yeah, and the first hospital, the first university, like astronomy, astrology, you know,
Mm.
all Arab stuff, you know, all Arab, a lot of math, like even
Mm.
coffee, you know, even like the early, like not all of coffee, but the early stuff of coffee
Yeah.
was Arab created, you know, like the grounding the beans and making like a drink out of it, you know.
Mm-mm-mm.
There's so much inspiration in this world that comes
Mm-mm-mm.
from Arabs, but we just don't, the people
Absolutely.
don't acknowledge, they don't acknowledge it, you know, because like
Mm-mm-mm.
we're very oppressed as an ethnic background, like
Yes,
as Arabs
yes.
and Middle Easterns, like from the MENA region, like we're just so oppressed, you know. It's
Mm-mm-mm.
just it's horrible, you know, like people don't even like understand us. They
Mm.
don't want to understand us. They don't want to be like, okay, I'm gonna sit down with an Arab, I'm gonna talk about what his background is, what his culture is like. They don't
Mm.
even want to attempt that. Like I had people calling me Indian or Mexican, you know,
Okay.
saying like slurs to me, like being Apu, you know, saying Apu, or I straight up had people like come up to me, what are you? You know, like what are you?
Yes.
What the hell are you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? You know, like it's so abrupt and it's very rude and disrespectful, but in their heads they don't really grasp that it's rude and
Yes.
disrespectful, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like very dehumanizing, you know. Like
Yeah.
I since I moved to California, like there's just been so many microaggressions, like racist slurs, you know,
Mm.
calling me sand N-word, you know, like you know,
Okay.
like yeah, like so straight up sand N-word, you know, and I'm like
Mm.
like the first time I heard it, like a lot of the times, like when I first moved here and I was younger, like I'll have say people say racist or like microaggressions towards me, and I was like shocked, you know, I didn't know how to react, so I just like
Yeah.
freeze, you know, I'd just be like,
Yeah.
"Are you?" Like in my head, I'd be like, "Did this just happen?" And then maybe later when I go somewhere else, I'm like, you know, that person was being racist towards me, you know, but in my head,
Yes.
it didn't click, you know,
Yeah.
up until later, or like I'll tell my parents or like my siblings or some of my friends, be like, oh, this person said this to me. And they're like, what the hell? You know how
Yeah.
racist that is? And I'm like, I didn't like at first, but now I don't really accept that. You know, I don't really let it slide anymore, you know,
Yeah.
because even like after like the genocide, people are more like accepting, you know, they want to learn. Like
Yeah.
at least some people are interested in what the
Mm.
culture is, you know,
Yes.
and but there's just so much racism, you know,
Mm, mm,
especially
mm.
like even in like the punk subculture, you know,
Even in the
globally.
punk subculture.
Yeah. Especially with
But
those comments,
punk is supposed to be, I mean,
you know, like a lot of the people in the comments at that video, they said like, oh, like if you're racist and punk, like you can't be a punk, you know,
mm,
because punk doesn't stand for racism, you know.
mm.
But unfortunately, there's people that don't really read or like look into this stuff. Like they don't really understand the lyrics that are being sung, you know.
Yeah.
They don't really grasp like what it stands for. And like I want to say the majority, there's just like a very small like fraction, you know, of
Mm.
those people that don't really want to educate themselves. They just think, oh, anarchy or like communism or whatever the hell, you know, and like they're in
Yeah.
their head, they're like, I'm the most rebellious person ever. But like you're calling an Arab, like you're telling an Arab to go shave his beard, you know. You're calling an Arab a racist Muslim. You're calling a nationalist. Like I got called a
Yeah.
nationalist a bunch, you know.
So,
I'm not a nationalist, you know. I'm not a nationalist. Like they saw like on this vest, I have like the map of Palestine, and then I have the first letter of Inqirad, like the alif with the hamza on the bottom, you
yeah.
know. So people were like, "Oh, if I see you on the street, like I'm gonna do this to you. Like I'm gonna beat you up. Like you can't even come to our clubs and that, you know." And I'm like, bro, like I don't bother responding. I don't want to humor it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to they want to get this reaction out of me. I don't give it to them. But
Yeah.
like it's just so much like I was depressed about it the other day, you know, like I was
Oh,
talking to my girlfriend and she was like, well, you're representing yourself, you're representing your people. You shouldn't
yes.
care, you know? But in my head, I'm like, God damn, like, is this really happening, you know? Especially in a subculture that promotes like anti-racism, like
Absolutely.
anti-establishment. And
Mm,
yeah, and I
mm,
was shocked, you know, and
mm,
like I
mm,
wasn't too shocked because like back in like early 2025, I did post a video like a really similar and on TikTok, and it got like a lot of views and there's like a lot of comments and stuff, and but a lot of support, but a lot of the same
mm.
stuff that I was talking about with this more recent video, you know, and like
Okay.
saying, oh, Palestine sucks, like Palestine, Arabs are terrorists, you know, all Arabs are Muslim, Islam is homophobic, you know, Islam is horrible to women, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
sick. I think that I'm feeling this way towards metal community. It's empty. There is Bring Me the Horizon. They put the flag, you know. So I'll start
yeah, I saw
counting, you
that,
know.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
one here. Okay, one.
yeah,
System of a Down. Okay,
yeah,
we love them. They're really open.
yeah,
I start counting, you know, like this. Even I was really surprised by Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses, I don't know if it's AI, but I saw this Axl Roses with the Palestinian flag. I was, what?
Wow.
Pinch me,
Yeah.
please. Pinch me. Yeah, this is my question. How is that important for you to sing in Arab?
So to me, like I've been in like several interviews and they asked me the same question. To me, I think it's like a very political thing, you
Yeah.
know? It's very political. It's a rebellious thing, you know, like especially in a like a lot of music, like then that kind of genre isn't sung in Arabic. For me, it's like a personal battle, you
Mm,
know. It's very important for me to be able to express myself in that manner in Arabic, you know, because like I said, lack of representation, but also to me, like that's my mother tongue, you know.
yeah.
And like you see a lot of bands, especially in LA, they sing in Spanish, you know, like a lot
Mm,
of Mexican punks out in LA.
yes,
And like,
yes.
yeah, there's so many. And then it's just the scene is very oversaturated, you know, out in LA, but you don't really like, I think in the West Coast, we're the only band that sings in Arabic, you know.
Mm,
So it's very important for me to like kind of like access that type of image and like a type of memory or type of like thing about my music, you know.
mm,
If I was gonna sing in a punk band, I'm not gonna sing in English, you know. I'm not gonna
mm.
sing in English. To me, it's like a personal thing. It's a very
Okay.
personal and like it's like more of like a stepping stone, you know. It's
Mm.
it's very important for me. It's very important, and I do think it's like in a way it's like a political like rebellious thing, you know. It's like me singing in Arabic is a rebellion in itself, you know, especially in a punk band, you know, and all those punk bands that do sing in Arabic is the same thing, you know.
What is your favorite track?
Probably when we were young, the first, yeah, that was the first one we recorded, and then that was like very personal to me because like that's just talking about like I say like oh like we used to be afraid of hell when we were young, you know, the sheikh used to tell you memorize Quran, you know, the soldier would hit you with a chain, you know, and
Yeah.
like mom used to go tell you get the purse, you know, that's like what the lyrics, you know, and it's
Okay.
kind of like about the youth, like me growing up as a
Yeah.
Muslim. It's very simple lyrics, you know, it's not that complicated and it's very easy to like kind of digest. But to me, that's definitely my favorite track, you know. I that one really resonates with me. And it's kind
Okay.
of crazy because like art is very subjective, you know, like I see a lot of people kind of responding to other songs, you know, they'll be like, oh, this one's my favorite, you know, this one's my favorite. I like this one better. But in my head, I'm like, no, no, you should like this one more, you know, like this one like resonates with me. Like, don't get me wrong, I like all my music, but
Yeah.
that one just stuck, you know. There's
Mm.
also like some tracks. There's an artist named Brian Lothian, and if you search my name on like Spotify, like Abdullah Khatib on Spotify, you like Brian Lothian, and I'm a feature. There's two songs that I sang in also in Arabic, you know, not with Inqirad. Like one
Mm.
of them is called Palestine Bleeds, and the other one is called Gaza in Our Eyes, you know. Those ones are really nice. Like, cause like he makes all the music and then he's like, write whatever you want for lyrics, you know. Just have your creativity, like complete musical creativity. So those ones I like as well, you know. Those ones kind of like, because I remember I showed them to my dad, and he's every time I show my music to my dad or like interviews and stuff, he's like, "Oh, this is so cool! You're famous." I'm like, "I'm not famous," you know. But he gets so excited. But those two songs are very interesting. If you want, I can send them to you as well, you know, later.
Okay.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
pleasure, really.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. No, I'll definitely send them after the interview, you know. But when we
Mm.
were young, for sure, that one really, really resonates with me.
Okay.
Like every time I listen to my demo, I play that one like multiple times, you know. And
You were talking about the events that you put together, Punks for Palestine. Can
yeah,
we imagine for something bigger, you know?
definitely, yeah. I mean, the Punks for Palestine, like in California, we had like four or five of them. Like we the number
Mm.
them, you know. But as far as the festival goes, I don't really know. Like we never really played in a festival. Like there was this one festival we were supposed to play in and we're last, but we never even got up and ended up playing it. Like it was
Okay.
our turn and then people started taking down the drum kit and we're like, what the hell? Like we're supposed to perform, but they completely forgot about us. I was like, okay, I guess we're not
Okay.
playing it. Yeah, we stayed that day. It was hollow. It was I was at a wedding, so I left early to go perform, and then like it was 2 or 3 a.m. and we didn't even get to perform. I'm like, what the hell? Like that guy was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, well, fuck you, you know, like. But as far as like a festival goes, like, possibly happen. You know, it'd be a really interesting thing, especially like if it's like a Punks for Palestine type deal. You know, we have like many bands out from like we can have touring bands or whatever. That would be a really interesting. I never really thought of like a festival type deal. I never really did. But besides shows, like that's kind of what I focus on with my band is just like playing like shows that kind of like with bands that kind of like support the cause. They're very political, you know, because I'm very picky with what shows I play. You know, we don't like play anything, you know, very very picky. And because like I said, like I want to express myself in a way that's going to be well received, you know. And even like my band was really young, we headlined a bunch of shows. Like the Punks for Palestine, we headlined that one, you know. We had a lot of band, like a lot of shows we played. We were a headliner, you know. Even like as a small band, like we're not that big of a band, you know. But we headlined like a bunch of shows so far. So hopefully, when we make our comeback, like we'll make like a record release type deal, like a record release show, and we'll headline that one, and then we'll have hopefully like we'll have some physical, you know, physical music because it's interesting because like there was a lot of Indonesian punks that will hit me up and be like, "Oh, I want to make shirts for your band. I want to release cassettes," you know, asking for
Yes.
permission. And
Yeah.
where else did it? Like there was two or three different pages and like distros that like kind of reached out and they made shirts for my band. And there was actually, it was really interesting. Like I think it was like 2024 or early 25. My record label guy, which is now he's my bassist. Our record is called, let's see. Yeah, this is our record label here. Like Neon, it's
Okay.
called Neon
Can
Nile.
I write
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's called Neon Nile. And he has a website and he features a lot of like he has
Okay.
Zanjir and Ikhlas on that label as well. So he has Zanjir and Ikhlas on that label. But it was so funny because he hit me up once and he's like, we have bootlegs of Inqirad on a Malaysian website, you know, and like it was like a bunch like Zanjir, Ikhlas, like all these bands, like bootlegs. And I was like, what the hell? Like that's so cool, you know. I wasn't even mad that they didn't even ask me. I'm like, well, the shirt was like $10 and I'm like, okay, make your money, you know, like God
Cool.
damn, that's amazing. And like prints and everything with our album art and like Inqirad, you know, it was so interesting. I was so excited to see that. I'm like, we made it, you know, like we have bootlegs now, you know. It was
Yes.
crazy. It was crazy, yeah.
Okay. So what's next for you? Are you working right now on something new or
Yes. We're working on a new album. It's gonna be called Glory to the Martyrs and Majd Shuhada. So
uh
that's our main focus now. We're gonna re-record the demo as well with the new lineup. So it'll be like a
okay.
revisited type deal. And we're probably gonna have like at least 10 or 11 songs, so including the demo. So demo's 4 songs, and then we'll have like 6 or 7 like new songs for the new album. And that's kind of what the direction we're looking for before we start like getting into shows and all of that. We're not really show ready per se,
Yeah.
but our main focus now is to like kind of hash out all the stuff and kind
Okay.
of get it all hammered and like polished up, and
Mm.
then hopefully we can release our new album, you know, because we've been lagging on it. It's real bad, you
Okay.
know. Yeah, but
Yes.
that's our next direction. Like that's the next move for my band, you know.
The music that you will pick when you wake up.
When I wake up, let's see. Like there's a lot of stuff that isn't like metal or punk or anything.
No,
Like I like
whatever. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
your
like one of
story.
my favorite bands is called Gorillaz. One of my other favorite genres is blues. So I listen to so much older blues, you know,
Okay.
like the classics, like the harmonica blues, Chicago, Delta, like all that, like the
Mm.
really, really old, like I think the first blues song, like the oldest blues song was like 1914, you know, and like
Okay.
the 20s and like all the 20s all the way to like the 90s, 80s, you know. I
Okay.
do like a lot of like street punk. I like crust punk, you know. Yeah, there's some local bands that I listen to, you know.
Okay.
But for the most part, like I like Elton John, I like Cole Porter, like I like that really old, like really older pop, you know. And
Yes.
but for the most part, like my main listen is blues, you know. I really like to like
Okay.
I'll wake up, I'll play like some Robert Johnson, I'll play some like Slim Harpo, or my favorite is Sonny Boy Williamson the second, you know. So it's just very poetic, you know. And like I listen to a lot of Arabic stuff. Like sometimes I'll wake up and I'll just play a recording of one of the poets reading Arabic poetry, you
Oh,
know. Yeah,
that's really
so
interesting.
there's no
Yeah.
music, no music. It's just like the poem being read
Yeah.
by the person
Hmm.
that wrote it, you know. And there's a lot of new poets that are coming up, and it's just I like to like indulge myself in that. You know, I like to like dive deeper, especially like I listen to Inqirad, Tanjir, of course, Haram, Takbir. There's a new band called Sarsoor. There's Taqriban, like Mar'a Burkan, of course. Like a lot of the Arabic, a lot of the Arabic kind of new punk and all that. I can't really think of a lot. Like I listen to some metal, not a lot of rock. It's mostly like punk, blues.
Yeah, I understand.
Poetry, you know, like it's just a lot of different things because a lot of that inspires me, you know,
Yeah.
even like with my music, even if it's not like necessarily punk or metal, you know, it inspires me to like have like I start to the cogs in my
Yeah, to
brain, the
have.
gears start to roll, you know, they start to move, and then I'm like, because the way I write, it's like I don't really I write in one go. You know, I'll like
Yeah.
sit and ruminate. I'll ruminate about my lyrics or the poems, and then as soon as I get on my phone or like write it down, I just start and I finish in the
Oh,
same
yes.
go. Yeah. So
Okay.
like I'll be listening to my music, and then in my head I'm like, okay, this is telling me something. So I'll
Okay.
think for days. Sometimes the longest it took me was like months, like 2, 3 months,
Mm.
and then I just sit and do it in one go. But like it's mostly blues. It's mostly blues for me. I
Okay.
have such a passion for.
Okay. Which music will you put when you are in a date?
You know, there's this new Gorilla song called Damascus. Me and my girlfriend, we love
Oh,
it. It had Omar Suleiman on it, and he sings in
Omar
Arabic. Like that.
Suleiman,
Yeah, at
come
Gorillas. At
on!
Gorillas. Like
This
I was
song
when I
is
first heard it. When I first
craziest
heard it,
duo
I
ever.
I cried for 3 hours. For 3 days when I first heard it. Like I was nonstop listening to it, and in my head, I'm like, Gorillas in Arabic. I was like, what the hell? Because
That's
like, they're one of my favorite.
crazy.
اليوم عين بعينه باكر وينه وينه Ship from Damascus, need more point. The fantasy is real, feel free, enjoy. كل يوم عين بعينه باكر وينه وينه New brand news in an old school voice. Hush, حبيبتي, it's time to make noise. راحت مني ندامة إن ماني مثبح ضينه. Here to navigate the waves in the dark, no map. Stars in the heavens and the breeze on my back. راحت.
One song that me and my girlfriend we like is called "On Melancholy Hill" by Gorillaz.
Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't know
because
when. Okay.
it has that one line, because you are my medicine when you're close to me. I play them. What else? There's this one called "Spoonful" by Howling Wolf.
Okay.
It's a older blues song. That's like a very romantic song. Is you is or is you my baby? Is you ain't my baby? You know, like just some of that, like kind of. There's this one called, what is it called? Even like Johnny Cash and all that, you know, like we kind of like both like all the similar music. So there's like a lot of songs we kind of like enjoy together, you know, and like sometimes when
Oh,
we post
that's
each other on the
cool. Yeah.
story, when we post each other on the story, or like we're trying to be all romantic, we'll like play those songs together, you know, and like
Oh,
we try to go on a lot of dates. Like my girlfriend's very wonderful, you know, she's such a beautiful person, you know.
maybe you're yeah, when you are on a party, which music will make you dance?
No, I don't really go to many parties, you know,
Come
besides like punk stuff,
on.
besides like punk
Even
shows,
in
you
an
know.
Arab party.
Yeah, I mean, like I love Hakeem, like Ah Ya Elbi, you know, like I like that
Oh,
Arabic pop, like Arabic rap. Like there's so many good Arabic rap artists.
yes.
So that's type of the stuff will make me like really get into it, really start
Uh,
dancing. You know? Yeah, I was at a wedding. I was at a wedding like maybe a few like 3, 4 weeks ago, and they played like a remix of Hakeem. So I was like going crazy, you know, like I
so,
love that. I love that.
so for you, what is the most beautiful music video of all the time?
Music video of all time. Um, Most beautiful music video of all time. Let me think. Probably "On Melancholy Hill" by Gorillaz. I really love that video. Like the whole album, Plastic
Oh,
Beach, had so many
yes.
different music videos. I like "Stylo" by Gorillaz too. What else? There's this one, "Lamb of God." I don't really listen to a lot of Lamb of God, but I think it was Redneck, you know, like by Lamb
Okay.
of God. What else? Um, I listen to some electronic music too, like
Okay.
electronic music. So there's this one called "Could This Be" by a band called Noisia. I really love that video. It's like kind of like a plane kind of like going according to the beat, you know, and
Mm.
but it's been so long since I sat down and watched the music video. I feel like a lot of bands don't even make them anymore, you know, like uh,
Yeah, it's a shame.
yeah. Yeah, that because like a lot of that is like everybody has such a short attention span because of like reels or TikToks, you know, like they just
Yeah,
want to sit and get their fix
yeah.
and then scroll, you know. There's not a lot. I like Céline, like Adam's his like promo videos. I love those, and I was in
Yeah.
a few of them actually. I was in a
He's
few of them, you
funny.
know.
I know. I saw
Yeah,
his shoes thing, his shoes, the Euro
yeah,
boots, and I was,
yeah, like the Arab punk, like
yeah,
punk
and
meets
I was
pop punk, you know.
screaming. I was screaming. I was, they know each other. Come on.
Yeah, he
This
lives in
was
Los
funny.
Angeles. He lives
Yeah.
in Los Angeles. He's about 40, 50 minutes from me. So sometimes
Okay.
I'll go to his studio, we'll record. Sometimes I give Arabic lessons sometimes, so I'll sit with him and like give him some classes, you know, like kind
Oh,
of
that's
teach him
cool.
to
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
So
really
I used to do it.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, I started teaching my girlfriend as well, and she knows the alphabet, like the whole alphabet, how to
Yeah.
pronounce it and the numbers. So very proud of her. She wants to be
Oh,
fluent by the end of the year, and I want to get her there, you know, because we want to go to Jordan, we want to go to the Middle East when we're able to, of course, you know.
yeah, thank you so much. Really, I'm so happy to get to know you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Wallah. It's
and
a very,
this is I'm really happy when I have this chance and the opportunity to have bands, like you, like Sikin. It's only the beginning. It's only the
yeah, that's
beginning.
wonderful.
Yeah, so really, again, thank you. But I don't know if you have a last word.
I would say it's very important to embrace yourself, embrace your culture, embrace yourself as an individual, embrace your mother tongue, you know,
Mm,
and our essence as Arabs, our existence is a very political thing. You know, we're a very political culture, we're a very political ethnic background. So our existence as Arabs, especially in the world right now, it's a political statement. And it's
mm,
me singing in my lyrics in Arabic, in my opinion, it's a political statement, you know?
yeah,
Um,
thank you.
so,
This is beautiful. Can
you
you
know.
maybe say something in Arab, some poem in Arab?
Of course, yeah. I'll say the first one of the first poems that I got into. So my song No Care was originally a poem, and then if you search "ما في اهتمام," No Care, "ما في اهتمام," that's in like Arabic, you can find a recording because I was the opener for one of the vinyls. So I'll say some of that. So
Okay.
um, أنا ذا الأسد ما عندي فريسة، عقلي صار قنبلة نووية، ما في اهتمام ما في أهمية، بس هالجسد الكله ذرية.
Aspire